Yo guys, see, trying to talk about it at the start of another stream, that there's a trick, or like one of the things about live streaming is that when it says it's live, it takes a certain amount of time until it's actually live. So try to wait, catch the exact moment when it starts and be like, yo guys. But it's kind of funny, there's no intro on this live, it's just me appearing from nowhere. Let's see here, monitor the stream. Yes, we're up and running. Wow, it's even shaking. The little tripod thing here is a little weak. Yo guys, say hi in the chat. Do we have anything nice to listen to in the meantime? How very Swedish I sound today. Björn Ulvaeus, Sten Jigs says, who is that? Björn Ulvaeus. You mean that I look like this somehow? Or is that, no, who you want me to play? Yeah. Anas Jelol says, uncommon sense is the best. Well, you're the best, Anas. You've been here on quite a few streams, asking some specific nutrition questions and such. Disney Dobie 1 says, hello everyone. Hello Disney Dobie. Andrew Mueller, sup bros and Chads, what's up? Fellow Chads, Matt brother, how long can you fast before losing muscle? Like, why are you asking this, first of all? It's like, people gotta stop thinking so short term, you know, like, if you even lose any muscle from even fasting for 2 weeks, you know, if you get back to eating protein and training again, whatever you lost, if you lost something, will come back so fast. And it's like, you know, when you ask how long can you fast before losing muscle, it's like, what is the purpose of this question? Why are you asking, you know? Sten Inks, I've done 10 days fasting. Nice. Andrew Mueller says, if you got down to 2% body fat, you would burn muscle if you continue the fast. Yeah, I mean, look, when I say that, you know, I fasted for 7.5 days, is my longest one. I say I've never been able to see that I lost any muscle, but I'm sure that in complete, like, atoms that make up muscle mass, they are slightly fewer at the end. But my point is that it's so little that it couldn't be observed. And if you lost this tiniest amount, well, if you start training again and eat protein after a fast, it's as if you didn't lose anything, you know. Stan Jinx, I believe as long as you've got fat to burn, you won't lose muscle. No, you know, the thing is, there are little processes the body will need some protein for. But for energy, you will mainly, if you have body fat, you will be able to use that. But there are some processes in the body that just take for a little bit of protein. But probably the body will preferentially take that from other mass that you have a little bit of excess of, like skin and stuff. And yeah, so, you know, like even a very overweight person, if they fasted for like 100 days, they probably lose some muscle. But I agree, like it's overwhelmingly gonna be fat that disappears. Like the stream, guys, by the way, if you haven't. Singing, dancing, muscle man. It's a nice name. I'm loving that Kyriakos t-shirt for real. Yeah, there's a new one. Got some new, I have some other Kyriakos stuff too, but this is a new one. I just so happen to own a pair of glasses that match this really well too. Some kind of turbo 80s look or something, I don't know. But yeah, I'm not gonna be wearing them today. Not today, Sonny boy. Um, Internet Explorer, hi. How often do you fast? So, it's not so often these days now, like, because fasting for me is not so much of a, for me anymore. This is something you got to realize, guys. You come up with all these programs, whether that is for training or dieting or fasting, but it's very often the coach like me that I can do so many little different things. I can turn one lever up and another down so much, you know. So for me at this point, I don't have like a regimen like, oh, this is how often I fast. It's sort of a schedule I have throughout the year that I'll start a bulk at the end of the summer or early fall. I'll try to not keep my hands on the table because the camera vibrates. Late summer, early fall, I start bulking. I will do a 5-day fast at Christmas that, you know, incidentally is like a mini cut, but it's not really the purpose. I'll go back to bulking. Then in May, April or May, I will do a fast. I might do another one. And that's exactly what I've done now, you know. So, and then just intuitively, when I feel like it, I do these dopamine fasts, right? That could happen sometime in the fall if I just feel like I need one of those, you know. But, you know, there's no certain frequency I fast on these days. I fasted so much and followed so many different routines when I discovered fasting. And now it's like, I'm honestly not in a position to be fasting so often because I'm already lean, I'm training hard, you know, these things, you know. So I have to plan it quite a bit, like each fast like that. So now this year so far, like I started the year just having done a 5-day fast, did another 5-day fast, that was early May. And then just 1.5 weeks ago, I did this 3-day or 2.5-day dry fast, dopamine fast. Disney Dovey, last day of 3 days keto before starting my Monday and Tuesday fast. Nice. So you've been following this routine too, man? Like, because because now they're gonna be. I'm good at remembering people, but especially when people are doing similar things. Because I know at least of one other guy that has done my routine with a Monday and Tuesday fast. So how is that working out for you, man? Singing, dancing, muscle man. Have you heard of the Stone Circle YouTube channel? He's big into sandbag training. I was going to start training using starting strength next week. Oh, that's someone else. Sandbag training is cool. I haven't done much of it. I've done a little bit. What I've done, you know, I'm just into I like having that super structured training where it can really train for gains in that sense, you know, strength or muscle with a barbell. But just using any object is cool. A sandbag is good, but what I have done, because the sandbag hug is a classic one, right? I have hugged like stones like that and done squats and the like. Wait, I was going to start training using starting strength next week. Any tips? No, like, to be honest, I don't even recall. I know, and I guess it's something that the program based on some compounds mainly, right? But any tips, you know, follow a better program. No, it's a decent place to start, I think. But, you know, other than it's like stay consistent, stick with it. So if you have picked something, stick with it for, you know, some months. Make sure that progressive overload on your lifts are taking place. That would be the main thing, really. Singing, dancing, muscle man. Any thoughts on sandbag training to build core, trap thickness? Yeah, I mean, that's the cool thing, right? With everything, for so searcher stuff, but also with sandbag stuff when you hug here. Like, thoughts on it. Like, to me, it would rarely be like my main training that I structure, like, oh, today I have sandbag squats or something. But since the core and traps, in my opinion, are muscles that respond well to kind of a lot of indirect volume, like if you get in some sandbag stuff, definitely gonna be some extra core and trap volume and might lead to some extra thickness, yes. Stenix. How do you find the winter fast? How I find it, just what I think about it. It's great. Like, you can go back. I made vlog from all once, I think. Except when I was in Greece, because that one was a little special. This most recent one was great. I was feeling great throughout it. I'm doing all these experiments, doing cold plunging. The last day, on the 5th day, when I broke it, the last thing I did was went down to the lake. It was like -10 in the air, snow everywhere. Went for a cold plunge, went straight up to the sauna, and then I went to break the fast. And yeah, I love it, you know. It's like you're really cleaning yourself out, both quite literally, physically, but also mentally and spiritually. It's like, my purpose with it is that complete reset for the next year, and yeah, I like it. Anas Jalul. I'm increasing reps and load in all my lifts every week, progressive overload. Does it mean I'm building muscle while cutting, or is it possible just to get stronger and not gain muscle? I mean, it is possible, but it's like if you're consistently making progress now in a deficit. I mean, I'm guessing the impression I have of you is you found this channel, and I inspired you to kind of start training, and you don't know all that much about all that yet. You're quite new to it. And I'm guessing then, because you're talking building muscle while cutting, that you are a little skinny fat, right? So in that position, if that trend keeps going, that you're progressively overloading and you are in a deficit, you're definitely gaining muscle. Yeah. Like, it's like sometimes when a movement is completely new, you know, then, for instance, some of the gains will just be neurological adaptations and such. And like on some compound exercises, if you train really low rep range, you might be training like your nervous system a bit more. Really, it's nothing to think about. It's like, if you're making progress, it's awesome. That will, if it keeps going that way, that will translate to muscle gains. Matt, bro, I quit smoking weed and drinking alcohol 2 weeks ago, and I've already gained 8 pounds. I've really been holding myself back. You've gained 8 pounds. So, and you say you've been holding yourself back. It's like, I'm not, but you gained 8 pounds. It's like, is this a good thing, you mean? Like, I'm not quite understanding your position here, because gaining 8 pounds in 2 weeks, a lot of people would not be happy with. Like, it sounds like you've been eating a lot instead, but is this that you're kind of a wreck, you're just a skeleton, and you started eating correctly in training, or like, what's up? Ronald Witteman said good news to Matt. So that's what I mean. I'm a little confused. Like, was it good news? I'm not quite understanding. Let's hide the chat here, because I'm looking here. Anyway, singing, dancing, muscle man. Would you rather fight 10 cows, each the size of a duck, or fight 1 duck the size of a cow? You know, I'd rather not fight any of these, just because I like them, you know. But if you're just thinking about the chat, I mean, I gotta fight a big duck, right? Like, it would be easier to fight the little cows, I think, because you could just kick them hard. But I don't, this is violent stuff, you know. So most interesting challenge, definitely go with a big duck. Like the stream, guys. Maybe send a super chat. Yeah, support the channel. And of course, the Uncommon Sense Bodybuilding ebook is out for purchase now. I'm happy with the amount of people that picked it up here the first weekend. Going to be very interesting to hear people's feedback. I know just from some guys that like got to reading it immediately. I got very positive feedback. Oh yeah, so where were we? Andrew Mueller, to Anna's D, it is possible to get stronger without gaining size. My advice would be to keep up the good work. Eventually you should gain size too. Yeah, but it's like, we don't even have to think about that. It's quite specific positions when that happens. Like, especially when you're a beginner, you're like, strength and muscle is extremely correlated for a beginner, you know. And also asking how much protein he gets in. At least 130 grams of protein. Yeah, well, that sounds all right. Yeah. Mikael Irizarry. Are you Swedish? That's correct. How could you tell? I am Swedish. Hanna Kilol. I increased my calories and I could get even more reps, 3 to 5 reps, but in a deficit, it's 1 to 2 reps every week. Should I increase calories? So look, man, this is up to you now. Like, I'm not there with you. I don't know your current body composition, but you know, it seems like if you are able to get stronger and cut fat, just at the cost of, you know, getting stronger slower, it seems good. Like I would keep going in a deficit as long as you can get stronger, and then when you see that most of my lifts are quite stalled now, then switch in to you know, eating more, focusing on making gains again. Because it sounds, for everything you've said so far, it sounds like you're doing a recomp well. He's Björn Ulvaeus, says again. Singing, dancing, muscle man, the big duck, lol, good answer. Yeah, well, I mean, way more interesting to fight the big duck than just kick 10 little cows all over the place. Like the stream, guys, if you haven't. Little Buddha in the background here. Yeah, guys, you gotta talk to me. Have I kind of, you know, I've gone live quite a few times lately. Have I like made you bored of them? You know that it's always been, now I have more subscribers in general, but you know that it always was that when I did live streams, when I started doing them again, I would always get more viewers, and then after a while, I got fewer, and then I stopped because I'm like, there's too few. And then when I restarted again, the same thing would happen. But is it that effect again? Vic, could you go over what your paid coaching offers? Yeah, well, so look, first of all, I'm going to go over it, but like, you know, many times what you gotta realize when you work, if you're gonna work with someone that really has a personal brand, like you're not coming to just some gym chain and like, I want a personal trainer here, and you just get something, you know. When it's someone you follow on YouTube, for instance, and you hear all their ideas and philosophy and that, you know, what you really get is access to that person directly plugged in to you and your process, right? But then, of course, this can be on different levels, but it's just like, I always try to say that some people that want to know when if they're gonna do coaching, like what exactly is included, kinda. It's kind of like, look, I can summarize it for you with some things here, but in the end, what's included is me in your process. If you trust that I'm the person, you know, that has the solution to your problem, or that can help you reach the result you want, then you should go for it, you know. But so I have two programs, two main programs really. And so it's the elite program and the program I just called fitness, nutrition, mindset. And so the elite program is one-on-one. It's going to be weekly calls, 1 hour long calls. And apart from we'll make a training program always, you know, and diet plan. But for the elite, it's a bit more tailored to the individual. Like we come up with some more things that aren't necessarily purely fitness. That's part of the program. And it's just easier to work a bit more holistically when you're having these direct calls with someone more often, right? But you see, this is pretty much what's included, you know, a specific amount of access to me and the training program and the diet plan, and the whatever would be your program plan. You know, it could be something like, approach 5 girls per day. This I haven't given someone in a long time, but for instance, you know, or all daily cold showers, you know, many different things we can put in that program. Then I have the other program that's a little lighter. So it's a monthly call. I used to have group calls, but it was just hard to get everyone to show up and stuff. So I paused that, and instead of group calls, I just have one call per month instead. But so the second program, Of course, if you combine it with your overall personal development and you ask me some smart things, you can work on other things than just fitness. But generally, the people that are coming to me, they're mainly like, okay, I want to get a fitness result. That's really what I'm looking for now. The second tier program there. So I don't know, have I told you what is included? It's like, because in the end, it's different levels of access to me, which will just, the more we are involved, the more things we can work on, right? So that's pretty much it. Yeah, like the stream if you haven't, guys. Maybe send a super chat. Michael Irizarry, I want bigger biceps and chest, more reps, lower weight, or low reps, high weight. I mean, bigger biceps and chest, and then you go on to say more reps, lower weight. It's like, first of all, you can be, it doesn't matter, whatever you do, that you can progressively overload. But also, if anything, I don't think the chest and biceps respond. Like chest, I would generally train at a lower rep range than biceps, because biceps I'm going to train more isolated more of the time. Though if I do a weighted chin up, for instance, that's going to hit the biceps definitely as a compound. I might be in the like 5 to 8 rep range there. But generally when I do bicep curls, I'm going to do at least 8 reps, like 8 to 15, depending on the exercise. And chest, it's rarely going to be more than 12. But that's not the point. It's just my experience of what these muscles respond best to. But really, either of them can work as long as you can progressively overload. Singing, dancing, muscle man. Have you ever tried bending horseshoes with your bare hands or tearing a phone book in half? Anything like that would be epic. Hashtag millions and millions of views. No, that would be cool now that you say it, but I haven't tried it. It's something I could do. Jay says burger time tomorrow. All right. Is Monday the burger day? Or am I missing something? Scarlett Pimpernel. I'm gonna smash some push-ups and then go for a 10K. Lost a stone since following your advice. You absolute legend, Theo. Well, I'm happy to hear that, Scarlett Pimpernel. Smash those push-ups and go for your steps. Steeny Inks, do you still sing? I mean, I sing for myself sometimes, but I'm not in any choir at the moment. You know that actually I watch some, you know, I used to be the social media manager, like the media guy for the choir I was in, which is a very, 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 very good choir. But now it's not me, of course. But now I was looking at some more recent stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I do miss being in the choir. Thing though is that choir is so serious. I want to be able to have the time. I don't want to be, you know, one of the people that goes to choir and doesn't really know their shit because they don't have time to prioritize it. But maybe I'd start in a choir that isn't quite as serious, not as demanding. But other than that, I mostly just sing for myself. Anas Jalul, does it matter how much volume you do per week? Progressive overloading on low volume versus high volume. So look, man, there's like you can do too little and too much of everything, and this is like this is something for you to find out. You're gonna get to know your body, like what amount of volumes were like. Honestly, this is why I keep hammering down on just progression. Like, if you're doing a certain amount of sets, you know, certain amount of exercise, a certain amount of sets per week, and you're seeing good progress, why are we even thinking about should I do more or less volume? You know, it's like your volume is good, clearly, right? So that's why I would be like, focus on progression, because if progression isn't happening, then maybe like, okay, I'll try more volume. You see what I mean? Or I'll try upping my intensity, or I'll try whatever, you know. But as long as progression is taking place, you're doing good, you know. So, yeah, that's my thing. Just to answer something about that, the Mike Mentzer crowd, and like that likes this, like kind of, oh, just one set to failure and stuff. You know, I think that's a great way to stimulate muscle growth with a minimum dose. However, I will always think that higher volume will stimulate more muscle growth. Like my approach has been for a long time, very, very high intensity, still quite high volume, not super, super high, but it's not low. Frame bite. I saw a short of you doing a jaw exercise. Was that a meme? Like, I mean, why should it be a meme? Why can't I train my, you know, what I did in the clip you're talking about, it's a short on this channel, but I instead of having my neck harness and having the weight hang down to do that, I had a towel attached to a kettlebell and bit on it. And yeah, you train your jaws that way. Then of course the name of the video was kind of joking. It was like, oh, how to train for Giga Chad jaws or something like that. But you know, I think that's cool. I've done that. I've weighted exercises that way before. Like I've done push-ups, deficit push-ups, like from elevated, you know, handles, had a weight hanging down from the head. It's like free neck volume, free jaw volume, and actually for the push-up, it puts the weight in a good place. So, you know, it's a little bit of a meme. It's just cool, fun to be a beast, and the title was for fun, but I think it's something productive about it. Stan Jinx, was it a Christian choir? No. So my choir, it's a funny thing. Almost all, look, first of all, like almost all choirs belong to a church. So they're Christian like that, but no one is doing it as a Christian thing here because almost no one is Christian, like, right? But this choir actually wasn't even associated. It wasn't a church choir. We did rehearse for the majority of the time. I was in the choir. We did rehearse in a church, but we didn't belong to that church, if you see what I mean. Like if it's, you know, if it's like there's the Sophia Church, there would be the Sophia Chamber Choir, for instance. But no, it was not the Christian choir. Jay, nah, have not been eating burgers for a long time, so want to do it tomorrow. Yeah, sure. And the funny thing, a burger, it's like a burger, a good burger isn't even like a healthy, it's not junk food. It's like the bread, that maybe, like don't eat it for often is my thing with bread or too much of it. But otherwise, it's a piece of meat with maybe some cheese and some vegetable. It's like, what's wrong with that? It's the freaking French fries done in seed oils or something. That's terrible. But the burger in and of itself, so yeah, good stuff. I had burgers, not this Friday, but the Friday before, with my brother-in-law, sort of. Singing, dancing, muscle man. Do you do some singing? Have you ever tried breaking glass with your voice? It will also be pretty epic. No, I haven't tried that. Definitely an easier thing for women to do than men. Michael Irizarry, can you collab with a golden one? Another Swede YouTuber looks like your brother. Yeah, you know, people tell me all the time. I'm sure there's going to be some collab at some point. It just makes sense, you know. I've said this many times. I know everyone doesn't see every single thing I put out, but many times I've told you that, yeah, I'm aware of the golden one. We even have some mutual friends. There was one time I was supposed to meet him in real life, but he couldn't make it. So, you know, I don't know that much about him. I've never followed him closely, but like I know who he is, and it would just make sense to meet up at some point, do something. I mean, what you guys should do is you should name drop me to the golden one. You know, you should, because I remember I sent him a direct message way back, like 2 years ago maybe. Didn't even get a response. So you see what I mean? Like you guys, you gotta make the crossovers happen by name dropping and stuff. Like the stream, we have over 40 people watching now. And Stan Jinx thought it was a great idea too. Say, are your cultural political views similar to his too? No, so what you can see it with me and my like political views is that I used to be more like that, okay? But I'm like a reformed reformed right-wing extremist in a sense, that I hold some of the opinions I did, but my like sentiment around all of it has changed. You know, I fell into the trap that I think many men who don't feel great and are like isolated and all that, you know, you kind of become racist, bigoted, you know, like you don't want to initially, but after a while suddenly you're identifying strongly with I'm a white man, you know, and now I like you look at the whites as your group sort of, and I just don't really anymore. Like, of course I'm literally biologically Swedish white man, but it's like my tribe are not those of my race. It's the people that share my ideas and values, and there could be any people, you know. That being said, of course I'm opposed to this mass immigration to Sweden. That's one thing, but I would guess from what I know that the golden one is more like I used to be politically, and to be honest, I try to not even be political. Like, I don't follow news or politics much anymore. I feel much better for it, and also on this channel I can give my views on society and talk a little bit about these things. But you know, I'm very much focused on us and self-development of the individual. You know, the way I see it with a live stream like this, guys, is I have a classroom right now. Right now I have 36 people in my classroom, right? And I'm talking about the things I know, trying to teach you things, and you can raise your hand and say things, right? But so the political stuff, I try to not get too involved with it, right? These days. Sixten Andreasson, thoughts on potato chips for bulking. Well, my issue would be the oils they do them with. Like, that's the thing. That's the so messed up thing that many of like French fries. If you do proper French fries, some good potatoes, and you do them in like tallow with salt. Like, yeah, some fat ass could overeat on them and get fatter, but for someone like me, it's just great, healthy, bulking food. The same thing you could if you did chips on some better fat, you know. It's just a bulking food. But you know, I wouldn't go buying chips in the store and use to bulk, preferably, you know. Jay, it's homemade, so not from Max or whatever. Yeah, better homemade burger. Yeah, but that's what I would do too. If I'm like going by car, I had to go to McDonald's or something like that, I would just buy like 2 or 3 burgers and throw away the bun or like half of them or something. Just no French fries. You just eat these burgers as the solution in that moment. Singing Dancing Muscle Man. I was just thinking the same thing as Michael. The Golden One and Uncommon Sense have similar messages. Yeah, it seems like it. I just think he's still a bit more political. They are literally the same dude, lol. But you know, I don't think that's fair, because I barely know of the guy. Like, do you understand? I know who he is, but I've not watched many videos, and yeah, like what I try to say is that I'm in no way impersonating him. We're like both just based Swedish chads or something, you know. But yeah, Sten Jing said, you're not obsessed with nationalism now. I understand. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. And Jay says, the Golden One versus Uncommon Sense anime fight crossover. Well, I'd rather not fight him, because from just little pictures I've seen of stuff, he has more, apart from being bigger, just taller and everything, I know he has more experience with the combat sports, so I'd lose pretty quickly there. But working out together, that would be cool, you know. Like the stream if you haven't, guys. Maybe send a super chat for, do I have it? The old pamphlet here? No, I don't. It seems like, you know, the protein yogurt, I don't know, note. No, but guys, you got a name drop. That's the thing. Have you seen this other Swedish guy? It's a lot like you. It's just a lot funnier. But someone said, like the Golden One, but more unhinged. I like that. The funny thing is, because I'm less unhinged with my like views, political views that we were talking about, but just maybe in a little way how I am, how I express myself, maybe more unhinged. Matteus Miscellaneous, Eagle-cot, so a hedgehog, he posts a little emoji. That's a Sonic, Jay says. Yeah, well, he's a hedgehog. Eagle-cot. Anas Jalul, have you thought of doing a meet and greet? Meeting with your subscribers and maybe training together or something? You know, I would love that, but most of you are not here in Stockholm, Sweden, right? Of course, if you want to do something even more serious, like a camp that people would even go to come, you know, I'm thinking of it because we've been discussing, like I'm working on one thing at a time. You know, now recently I prioritized this week to finish this book. But we're talking about doing an online community. But I'm of course thinking about like just doing IRL stuff because, you know, that's a nice thing with being a businessman, entrepreneur. I think it sounds a little bit pretentious in some way to say, but you know, when you aren't just like, oh, I'm a YouTuber or I'm a personal trainer. I'm like, no, I do many things related. I still do in-person training and with online coaching and stuff. So look, of course, I would love to meet you guys. And I have met followers before. When someone has just come to Stockholm, like, oh, if I have had time to see them, I have. I've done this with clients too, like Swedish clients living in other places here. If they have come to Stockholm, they come, like, you know, I want to connect with you guys, of course. But like I tell you, it's kind of an international following here. The Uncommon Sense men's camp, you know, of course, I see myself arranging stuff like that, like higher end in the future too. Louis Simley, any tips / tricks on quitting watching porn and or nofap? You know, it's like it has to be seen as a process. If you can't quit, my tool, because it's an addiction, we have to see it as an addiction. And if you can't quit an addiction cold turkey, you have to do it gradually somehow, right? So there are some things, I mean, you have to figure out, like a lot of men, they don't realize, but one thing they use this in particular for is regulating their nervous system, right? When you feel anxious or uneasy, uncomfortable, you might not do the connection, but that many times is what pushes men towards doing that, even when they think they shouldn't and stuff. So, you know, those things you can, if we can reduce the source of the anxiety or stress, of course, there's no trigger there. But also if we can find some better way to cope, that works too. But you know, in the end, it's just that you have to stop and you have to do it less. You have to see doing it less often as improvement as well. One important thing is to not judge yourself when you're unable to quit, because you know you have to treat yourself the way you treat a friend that you know has a problem that they're working on but comes up short sometimes. You'll be like, if they keep trying and you see that it's difficult for them, you know, you wouldn't be all judgmental and angry at them. And that's when we treat ourselves that way, then we kind of want to rebel against ourselves, you know. So one thing is that not making excuses for yourself, but just not, if you do the thing when you're not supposed to, it's like letting it go as fast as well. Okay, I will have a weak moment, back on target, you know. And that's some little general tips for you. Of course, always, the more you can remove triggers, the better. You see freezing up on the screen here? No, it's live. So where were we? Semen retention, Mr. Jalen says, without saying, you say that as like tips for the, you know, but when you're telling someone, you're just like, you're telling him, just quit, bro, is what you're telling him. If he's gonna change from watching the porn and that to semen retention. Stin Jinx, just in case you're unaware though, Michael Irizarry, $5, $5 American dollars. I appreciate that, man. He didn't say anything, but thanks for the support. The first one to support this stream. And just because someone said to what I was talking about before, Tristan Vitali says to treat yourself like a friend. Exactly. For some reason, many times we treat ourselves way worse than we would treat someone else. But Stinging said, just in case you're unaware though, there's been a massive swing to the right all across Europe, including Sweden and the UK, where I am. Progress is being made. Yeah, you know, I'm not unaware, but it feels a little stuck at the moment though, right? Like, of course, no, I saw some things with the EU elections, France in particular, but no, I'm aware. But the thing is, I'm still, my thing is kind of like, I think people are a bit too comfortable for the massive shift to happen. I unfortunately think still some things have to get a lot worse before they turn around. Well, thanks again for the super chat, Michael. Appreciate it. Eric De Simone. Do you drive fast? And if so, how long is your longest? Thanks. And then what's your opinion on breatharianism? Well, I have drive fasted never longer than 3 days, but I've used the sauna and done it quite a bit. So, you know, I probably managed to reach the dehydration of a sort of like a 5 or 6 day dry fast. Even if it's not quite the same, you know, but obviously if you sit in the sauna for a long time and do it several times throughout the day, obviously you're losing more water you would have otherwise. My first dry fast was actually my first intense one ever. Yeah. But these are, if you search dry fast on the channel, you're gonna find it. Some old videos. One when I sit and cry on my dry fast because I can't believe my depression is gone. You know, and many people have misunderstood it, thinking that the dry fast removed my depression. It's more like in that altered state on the 3rd day of a dry fast. I was overtaken by gratitude and the realization that so many problems I've had were actually gone, you know, and I got quite emotional about it. But it wasn't the fast that did it, just revealed it to me. Freibite, just put some potatoes with a bit of coconut oil in the oven, way better than French fries. Yeah, but I would prefer to do tallow though. Coconut oil, it's like, it's good, but you know, coconut and potato, I'd rather have like butter and potato, tallow or potato. Scarlet Pimpernel, I can do 24-hour fast but struggle after that. Have ever struggled at all with fasting? Have you set out to do a 48-hour and quit? Of course, like, look guys, this is what I have learned throughout these years, that literally anything you can become better at, like pretty much forever. Like even a thing like fasting, you have to see everything you do, your body is like a master of adaptation to whatever demand is put on it. The body is doing its best to like improve its ability to do that, meet the demand, you know. So, like fasting, if I do go through a little timeline for you, and you just want to double check, this froze. It's like, it's unstable on the PC, but it seems to be stable on the phone at least, so that's good. No, but so, okay. Very first fast, I try it because I'm curious. 5 days. So the 5 day, it got kind of funny that I started with a 5 day after not even having done like a day, right? But the 5 day was a little special because I saw it so much as a one-off thing. You know, it's easier if you feel like I'm gonna not eat for several days and then I'm just gonna go back to eating, and now I have tried that, you know. But then I wanted to do experiments, and the 48s, yeah, I failed some 48s. I broke them early because I hadn't yet adapted, you know. Then I came to a point where I could sort of always do my fasts, but maybe I was quite hungry at some point, or maybe I get really low energy at some point. And it was like this for quite some time, that I would feel mostly all right, but have a weak moment or so during the fast. And then the more and more I've done it, now I'm like surprised at how extremely easy they are many times, even when I haven't done them in a long time. Because as long as you just eat healthy food, eat so you don't disrupt your hormones and just you know, entire taste, experience of taste by introducing all these hyper-processed foods, right? It's like you don't undo the fasting progress you've done. So yeah, I struggle with it. You have to treat it as any process, you know, like progressive overload. progressive overload, consistency, right? It's like repetition. You have to treat it as anything like that. It's a funny question here. Sixten Andreasson asked, what wrong? We are live though, right? Like this freaking PC is making me trip out. It's like, I think we are on the phone. Come on, man. I want to see the chat, at least, you know. You're live, you guys are telling me, but, so where were we? Jay said, I name dropped you on the natural hypertrophy video. Reklam, hashtag reklam, yeah, thanks. Sixten Andreasson, what's wrong with the oils? Well, it's just many of these vegetable oils, man. They put in everything. They're just, like, I'm not the expert to tell you all the science about it. It's just, I strongly believe that these vegetable oils, the processed vegetable oils, are like among the worst things that we eat these days. Peppers 80 asks, do you have a day job? Do you do YouTube full time now? So look, there is an old stream. I don't remember which one it was, but I told the exact story of what I've been doing professionally these last like 5 years or so. But look, I'm not gonna do the whole story again, but I've been doing YouTube. I started doing it purely out of happiness, how I changed my life, you know. I realized I want to work with something like this. I became a personal trainer. I work as a personal trainer while I'm doing videos and everything, you know. And then, long story short, I started my own company. Started at the start of 2022 with 10 online clients that I had gained through my social media. That was much smaller back then. And that's what you're gonna realize, guys, to make money online, you don't necessarily need, like, there are influencers with hundreds of thousands of followers that, you know, don't make any money out of it. Because it's just, somehow some stuff has gone viral and they have really nice looking pics and stuff, but they offer nothing of substance. While me, I've had people that really are into what I do from the start. So there, I don't even remember how many followers and stuff I had back then, but I was able to go full time on working with online coaching. And then there's been a little bit of back and forth. You know, I've started having some in-person clients again, and I even work a little bit in a gym. I'm even employed for just a little bit in a gym, which is mostly about fun, to be honest. But so you see, and my main source of income is still coaching clients, right? Just I've gotten more now recently with more following. I get some money from YouTube, super chats, you know. Now I made this book that I sell, you know. I am an entrepreneur, you know. I think it sounds so, because I'm just one guy doing my thing and spreading it as much as I can, both for free and at a cost, you know. So I don't know how you say that, but in Sweden, jag är egenföretagare. You know, I run my own business. That's what I do. That's the easy way to describe my occupation. So why did the internet go out on the PC? It's so annoying. It's much better to see the chat on here. You like try resetting the Wi-Fi. Because also right now you can't see it, but the tripod I'm using now is kind of, it's in the way for part of the screen too. Okay, come on, chat. Yes, good, got it back. Why is that still a thing? You know, it's kind of the old, pretty much like try pull the plug and put it in again. You know, but virtually now. Oh, turn off the Wi-Fi and turn it on. Why is it that that works so often with stuff? Okay, oversampled secret lab. So what fixed your depression, bro? In short. So if you know me by now from my videos, if I am to give a proper answer, I can't do it in short. Like, it's such a huge thing, man. But like the real main thing is I went through that thing with the panic attacks, came out on the other side. In the process of having overcome these panic attacks, I had shed, like a lot of old parts of myself had died, or like that weren't really me, to be honest. Like, so the real me, I had a spiritual classic phone asking about an update during the live. Of course, I'm aborting the live to install the update.